Good evening and welcome to Sip and Say with Stephanie on the Stephanie Humphrey channel and the Stephanie Humphrey podcast. Welcome to Sip and Say with Stephanie. How y'all doing? How is everybody doing today? Are y'all staying nice? Sorry about that, y'all. Are y'all staying nice and warm? I hope so, y'all. It's a lot going on as far as our weather is concerned, and I hope that you are staying nice and comfortable in your respective locations. I hope that all is well with you. I hope that all is well with your family. Look, y'all, how y'all doing? How are you all doing mentally? How are you doing spiritually? How are you doing physically? How are you doing mentally? How are you doing socially? How y'all doing? I'm doing pretty good, y'all. I'm messing with this technology right now. That's why you don't see me looking right at the camera, because I'm messing with this technology right now, trying to get this going so that I can get to going. So look, y'all, add it to the live chat or add it to the comment section to let me know how you are doing today. I'm doing great. It has been beautiful being able to stay in a couple of days from work just to do what I need to do. I have truly enjoyed myself these last 2 days of being at home and, like I said, getting some things done. My home is just like I wanted. I told you, I think last week or the week before, that I tore my home up. So now it's back together like I want it to be, and I'm back together like I want it to be, but also with some things moved around, which I like a lot better than it was before. And so you all, I'm excited about it. So I didn't have to do any housework outside of washing dishes, really hadn't done any housework the last few days. I do my deep cleaning on Saturday like I normally do, but I didn't have to do anything major today except for like computer work and getting ready for tonight, getting ready for Sunday. And so that's what I've been doing. And so I've been feeling good watching the snow. My recliner is right beside one of my windows. So I've been watching the snow yesterday, watched the snow today, and I've enjoyed just being in my house watching the snow. Got the fireplace going right now. So yeah, it's been good. So I don't know what tomorrow is gonna look like. I haven't even checked to see if I'm going to work tomorrow or not. I know what I want to do. I definitely don't want to be out on the roads because it'd be a mess, y'all. So I don't necessarily want to go out on the roads, but I don't know if my school district will be closed or open tomorrow. Potentially, it'll be a optional work day, and if that's the case, I know I'm not going in. I'm gonna stay home and just chill. So other than that, I'm doing great. I'm doing wonderful. All is well. Y'all let me know what you're sipping on. I'm looking at my mom's post. She said she's doing fine and she is sipping on some water tonight. I too am sipping on water tonight. I had me a cup of cappuccino with I'll say it was brunch because I think I ate breakfast. It was probably close to 2 o'clock. It was my first meal of the day. Because normally when I'm home like this and I'm kind of sitting around doing computer work, I don't get as hungry as if I'm up and moving. And so I think I had my breakfast. Yeah, I think it was around two, somewhere between 1 and 2 o'clock. I finally cooked me some blueberry waffles, some scrambled eggs, and had some sausage. And so plant-based sausage. And so it was really good. And so I haven't had dinner yet. I don't even know. I'm probably gonna make a salad for dinner because that's all I got in the refrigerator to make. So again, I'm just sipping on a little bit of water. Got me some my We Are Joy cup by Black Paper Party. I know I done told y'all about Black Paper Party from Dollar General. Get y'all some, okay? So I'm sipping water in my Black Paper Party mug. So look, you all, I don't have a lot of Black history facts for you tonight. We are focused on Black History Month today and tomorrow, but I don't have a lot of Black history facts for you tonight, but I think what I have is significant. Some individuals maybe you've never heard of before, individuals I certainly had not heard of before. And so I'm glad to share their information and get us all knowledgeable or more knowledgeable, I should say, about Black history. Y'all, okay, so I am going to give you a little teaser because you all know that next week I am unboxing and unbagging some new items that I purchased from Black-owned businesses. I should say items that I've purchased from Black-owned businesses that are new to me because I've never purchased from them before. And so it's all new. I have it right here. What is this? Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. I took my other sticky note off my computer, but I think I did 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 8. Actually, I have 8 companies that I've purchased from that I'm going to unbox or unbag their products next week. A few of them I got in January because I forgot, I wasn't even thinking, I'm going to say I forgot, but I wasn't even thinking that I might want to do an unboxing for Black History Month. So look, y'all, little teaser. One of my products is here. And y'all, it says fragile. I want to open this. It smells so good. And I want to open it. Like, y'all, I have to wait a week before I open this. I'm going to wait. I think I'm going to wait. If I don't wait, I'm just going to open it just to look and see what's inside. Even though I know what's inside, I'm going to open it and then I'm going to seal it up real quick so I can unbox it with you. But I keep forgetting, even from last year, I forgot even from last year that I want to open the bags with or without y'all. But I told y'all we were going to unbag. I said unbox initially, but I actually have a few bags. So we're going to unbox, unbag next Thursday. And I'm hoping I can hold out until next Thursday to order from this, or not to order from, but to open this package. Do y'all think I'm gonna make it? I don't know, y'all, but y'all know I'll tell you next week about this package. What happened, with this package, but it smells really good and I really want to open it. But I'm gonna wait. So this is the first package that I've gotten. I've already gotten 4 products because some I already had before February and one actually got in the store. So I'm actually gonna put it in a little bag so I can unbag it for you. But this is the first of the products that I purchased that had to be delivered to me. And so I'm sorry, this is the first one that's come of the Black-owned business products that I purchased that had to be delivered. Yeah, this is the first one that had to be delivered. Y'all got me? Okay, I got myself 2. So I have how many? 1, 2, because I wrote them on my sticky note. I have 1, 2. So I have 4 more that's coming. So this is number 3. So I got 3 already. This is 4, and I got 4 more that's going to be delivered. Hopefully this weekend is what it says. One of them, you all, I don't think is going to make Thursday. So it might be that I'm only unboxing 7 next week, but just looking at the updates, and this company has been so good about giving me updates. So with the updates, it may not make it till Thursday. It may not make it to me by Thursday. And if it does not, then I'll wait until the next time that I'm with you. Because I won't be with you March 6th. I don't think, because I have an event that night. So I do have a special guest that I've asked to come. I'll tell you about the guest next week. So I'll have to give you all that information, I guess, the second Thursday, if the Lord blesses me to live to see it. Okay? All right, y'all. So we might only have 7, but it's going to be a good 7. And I'm excited. Okay. And I actually, yes, I'll tell y'all next week. I'm going to keep y'all in suspense. Okay, let's get to the Black History Facts for tonight. I can't remember how many I have. Maybe I have about 10. It's less than 10. I can't even get my glasses on with my wrap on, so we'll put those on top. All right. Yes. All right, y'all. So I gave these Black History Facts at church. So if you go to my church and you're listening in, you're about to get a praise the Lord, from whom I bless. And so you know what, y'all? I think I'm going to go ahead and open up my sports trivia that I shared at church, just so you all can have that too. And I think I'll share that first, because on NFL, not NFL, but on Super, I don't care nothing about no Super Bowl, y'all. I don't. But my pastor and some church members, they are sports fans. So on each Super Bowl Sunday, we have Super Sunday. And so I gave some Black History Facts about football. And so I'll go ahead and share those with you. If you've heard them again, then it's okay. It's good to hear Black History Facts again, right? Okay, so I'm going to start with those and then we'll move forward. So I have a few more to share with you. Yay! All right, y'all. In 1920, Bobby Marshall the first Black athlete at the University of Minnesota, also became the first Black professional football player of the Rock Island Independence for the American Professional Football Association. 2 weeks later, Fritz Pollard joined the Akron Pros. The American Professional Football League, the APFL, eventually became known as the NFL, the National Football League. In 1946, Kenny Washington of the Los Angeles Rams, Woody Strode of the Los Angeles Rams, Marion Motley of the Cleveland Browns, and Bill Willis of the Cleveland Browns became the first Black football players to reintegrate professional football. So that's for all y'all football fans. Fact two in football history. In 2007, Lovie Smith, coach for the Chicago Bears, and Tony Dungy, coach for the Indiana Colts, made history as the first Black head coaches to face off during the Super Bowl. And I remember saying that I did not have to look up the stats to know that the Colts won that game, but I did look up to confirm the Colts did win that game. I didn't check out the score, so you all can check it out for yourself, or you may already know because it happened in 2007, right? All right, fact three. Not last Sunday, but 2 Sundays ago, February 8th, was the second time that two African American or Black football quarterbacks faced off in a Super Bowl. The first one happened in 2023 when Jalen Hurts, quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles, and Patrick Mahomes, quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs, became the first Black quarterbacks to face off during the Super Bowl, and they reprised their role this year in 2025 for Super Bowl 59. So I did not watch a Super Bowl. I haven't watched a Super Bowl in many years, but I will catch the halftime show depending on who's performing. And I did catch Kendrick Lamar's Super Bowl halftime show on Super Bowl Sunday. Y'all, it was good. I am not a fan of Kendrick Lamar, and I'm not a fan of his. I'm not familiar with his music. I know some of his songs, but not familiar with his music in a very significant way. But I did recognize about him that he's a socially conscious, socially aware artist. And so I was looking forward to hearing his halftime show. It was good. Y'all, if you didn't catch it, you can go to YouTube. The NFL has the halftime show there. It is so good. Samuel Jackson was a huge surprise. He was Uncle Sam. It was good, job. So his presentation and how that was incorporated into Kendrick Lamar's performance was absolutely amazing, y'all. Whether you like rap or not is irrelevant. If you watch the halftime show, listen to the words, even if you can't, because some of the words I really did have to look up because I didn't catch all of them, but look up the lyrics to his songs, the Kendrick Lamar songs. Yeah, it was good. It was good. And he presented such a powerful, in my opinion, such a powerful message during the Super Bowl as it relates to our current times. Y'all, it was good. So get you some of Kendrick Lamar's halftime show from the Super Bowl 59. Okay, last thing that I want to share about football is safety Antoinette Tony Harris is the first woman to receive a 4-year college football, was the first woman to receive, or is, she's still alive, but was the first woman to receive a 4-year college football scholarship to Central Methodist University and the National Association of Intercollegiate Athletics. She graduated with honors with a degree in criminal justice. So we salute Miss Antoinette. She did get sick, so I believe she did want to pursue a career in professional football, but she did get sick. So I think that kind of changed her plans and what she wanted to do. And so I know that she playing professional football as well as being a criminal justice or operating in the area of criminal justice. I knew she wanted to do those things. So she did, get her degree. I don't know if I think there's still a short window for her to become an NFL player, or at least I want to say apply, but I don't know if it's called apply in the football world. I don't know, but at least be a part of the NFL draft. I think she still has a short window before her time is up. So I don't know if her sickness is at a point where she could play, or if she has just made the decision that, that's just not a dream of hers that she'll realize because of her health concerns. I don't know, but it's something that you can look up and check out for yourself. Okay. So Antoinette Harris. Awesome. So let me get into some more Black girl magic. I said that was the last thing for the NFL, but I got one more for you. So young lady Taj, or young artist, I'll say young artist Queen Taj Williams was the first person to design the Super Bowl logo and theme art for Super Bowl 59. Miss Williams is a New Orleans-based artist, and she's also a member of the Golden Eagles Mardi Gras Indian tribe. Miss Williams was chosen to design the logo and the theme art for Super Bowl 59 because she is a local artist who is known for her Black masking technique. Her artistic work celebrates the city's Black masking culture and honors the traditions, deep cultural connections between Native American heritage and African American heritage, which are heritages that she shares. Awesome. So you all look up, I had never heard of Taj Williams, but I did look her up in doing this research. I don't know much about her art because, again, I didn't know who she was, but I will be looking up her art to see the wide range of art that she has completed, as well as the specific, what is it called? Um, Black masking technique. I want to make sure I said it right. Black masking technique. So yeah, gosh. Yes, gosh. Yes, guys. All right, y'all. Let's keep it moving. Got some more facts for you. So hi out Wanda. She says she's sipping on some strawberry lemonade. I know that's right. Is it homemade, Auntie, or did you not homemade it? Just curious, because I've made strawberry lemonade for the first time a couple of years ago. I didn't intend to do that, but I had some strawberries and was making lemonade for a party we were having at my job, and my coworker said it was delicious. So I've made it a couple of other times. So just curious to know about the status of your strawberry lemonade, if it's any of my business, right? Okay, moving right along before I get in trouble with Auntie. Women in the medical field. I have two young ladies that I want to share information with you. Oh, I got one more. I got one more about Super Bowl. Sorry, y'all. I thought I was done. I promise this is the last one. I said Queen was the last one. This is the last one. So Miss Autumn Lockwood, Coach Autumn Lockwood, became the first Black woman to she became the first Black woman coach to win a Super Bowl. She is an Eagles performance coach. And so again, she became the first Black woman coach to win a Super Bowl. So congratulations to Coach Autumn Lockwood. That's amazing, right? That's amazing. All right, y'all. We made some historical gains in sports, y'all. Come on, somebody. To the women. Woo, woo, woo. Okay, let's get to the medical field. Dr. Rebecca Lee Crumpler was born on February 8, 1831, to Absalom Davis and Matilda Weber. Dr. Crumpler grew up with her aunt who cared for sick people. It is thought that seeing her aunt's work may have influenced Dr. Crumpler to seek work in the medical field. Her work began as a nurse in 1852. In 1860, Dr. Crumpler began her medical training at the New England Female Medical College, where she graduated on March 1st, 1864, becoming the first Black woman to earn a medical doctor degree. Dr. Crumpler, I wish I would have bought her book over, but Dr. Crumpler wrote a book. She wrote a book entitled A Book of Medical Discourses in two parts. It was published in 1883, and yes, the book is available today. When I did research on her at the start of February, end of January, start of February, I actually went ahead and ordered her book. And so I do have her book. And y'all, it's very detailed because the book is based on the journal notes that Dr. Crumpler kept while she practiced medicine. So she writes things in detail. And the chapter that I was reading was specifically about children. It was I don't remember what illness she was documenting at that time, because it was like 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, 2 to 3 weeks ago when I read that some of that particular chapter. But she was documenting in detail some of the findings that she observed while this illness was happening and different treatments that could potentially support these children. So the book is very detailed. So I encourage you to get you some, like to get it. If you can find it, get it. You might be able to check it out from your local library. I don't know, I didn't check, but check it out. The book again is called A Book of Medical Discourses in 2 Parts. I love that she wrote her notes and that we get to access them today, because this was back in the 1880s, you all, and the fact that we can still access that today is amazing. And so Dr. Crumpler's book is one of the first medical publications by a Black American. Dr. Crumpler passed away on March 9th, 1895 at the age of 64. We salute Dr. Crumpler for her work in medicine. So, Dr. Patricia Bath. So, Dr. Bath was born on November 4th, 1942 in Harlem, New York, to Rupert and Gladys Bath. Her mom, Mrs. Bath, gave Dr. Bath books and a chemistry set when she was younger, initiating her journey to scientific discovery. While in high school in 1959, Dr. Bath attended a summer institute where she formulated an equation to predict cancer cell growth. Dr. Bath studied chemistry and physics in undergrad at Hunter College in New York. And I do want to know, I didn't put it in my notes, but I do remember reading this, that equation that Dr. Bath formulated during the Summer Institute to predict cancer cell growth, it was noted by some adults. I don't remember if it was doctors or scientists, but they did note her research and her formulation in some of their work. Okay, some of their lectures, some of their work. So Dr. Bath studied chemistry and physics in undergrad at Hunter College in New York, and she went on to Howard U Medical School, where she graduated with honors. Dr. Bath focused her work in ophthalmology. After seeing disparities with eye care in the Black community, in particular blindness, Dr. Bath created community ophthalmology, an interdisciplinary approach to healthcare that combined community medicine, clinical practice, and public health to provide eye care to underserved communities. Dr. Bath went on to invent the laser foci. I'm going to say the laser foci. I'm going to put my syllables kind of where I want them to be. Probe, which has provided a much faster, safer, more effective, and minimally invasive approach to cataract surgery. So if you get if you have had cataract surgery, if you need cataract surgery, if you're going to eventually get cataract surgery, we thank Dr. Bath for her invention of the laser foci probe, because it has helped to provide a faster, safer, minimally invasive way for your cataract surgery. I know I said that twice, but it's all good. I hope I don't ever have to have cataract surgery, or like Medea say, Cadillac surgery. But if we do, we have a way for us to do that in a safer, more effective way. Thank you, Dr. Bath. So Dr. Bath also became a forerunner in the world of telemedicine. So if y'all have had appointments through telemedicine, we thank Dr. Bath for being a forerunner in that vein. Dr. Bath has 5 patents related to the laser foci probe and has authored over 100 papers. Dr. Bath passed away in 2019 due to complications of cancer. And again, we salute Dr. Bath for her work in ophthalmology, for her work in community ophthalmology, for her work in helping with the cataract surgery, and for her work with telemedicine. All right, come on, doctors. Yes. All right, y'all. We're gonna keep going with the black. I didn't realize that I had so much Black girl magic facts, but sometimes it just be what it's gonna be. It's okay. All right, y'all. The next Black American that I like to talk about. My aunt said that her strawberry lemonade is not homemade. It's okay. I'll make you some, auntie. So the next Black American that I want to share with you is Mary Beatrice Davison Kenner. So Miss Kenner was born on May 7th, 1912 in Monroe, North Carolina. Her father was Sidney Nathaniel Davison. He actually patented a clothing presser in 1914 that could fit into a suitcase. So for all you who travel with your iron or your clothing presser, thank you to thank you to Mr. Sidney Nathaniel Davidson for his patent. Robert Frumberger, Miss Mary Kenner's maternal grandfather, he invented a tricolor light signal for trains and a stretcher with wheels for ambulances. Come on in here, family of inventors, right? Mildred Davison Austin Smith, Miss Mary Kenner's sister, she patented a board game in 1980. I meant to look up what the board game was, but if I find it, I'll put it in the description so that you can have it. But four members of one family of inventors. I absolutely love it. And so Miss Mary Beatrice Davison Kenner, she patented the sanitary belt, y'all. In 1957, Miss Kenner patented the sanitary belt. So y'all know that sanitary napkin adhesives and tampons, they didn't come till a little bit later. So I don't know how in the world women held pads in their panties. I don't even know. I didn't do the research. But Miss Mary, she patented the sanitary belt, which helped hold the sanitary napkins for women to be a little bit more secure during their monthly flow. Even though Miss Kenner invented the sanitary belt years prior to filing for her patent, she did have some trouble while filing for her patent because she was a Black woman. And so she did have some trouble, some racial discrimination when seeking to file for her patent. She eventually did so in 1957, but without challenges. In addition, so not only did she experience racial discrimination, she was unable to afford to file for the patent when it was initially invented. In her, let's see. So this is what because there was a company, you all, that was interested in purchasing the sanitary belt from Miss Kenner. Or I'm sorry, let me backtrack. They were interested in marketing her sanitary belt. So there was a company that reached out to her and they were interested in marketing her sanitary belt. But this is what Miss Mary said, and this is a quote. "One day I was contacted by a company that expressed an interest in marketing my idea. I was so jubilant. I saw houses, cars, and everything about to come my way. Sorry to say, when they found out I was Black, their interest dropped." And that was a quote from Laura F. Jeffries' book, Amazing American Inventors of the 20th Century. So unfortunately, that plan fell through because, again, she was a Black woman. And y'all, this was in the 50s, y'all. Like, that was not too far ago. So anywho, moving on, in 1976, after Miss Mary's sister was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, Miss Mary patented a walker with an attachable tray and pocket for carrying items. Come on, Miss Mary, don't let the discrimination stop you. In the 1980s, Miss Mary invented a toilet paper dispenser with paper that was always reachable. And she invented a backwasher that could be mounted to a shower wall. So, in all, Miss Mary invented, or she made, I don't know how many inventions Miss Mary made, because she started inventing at the age of 6. I don't know how many inventions she made, but she actually patented 5 of her inventions, including the walker attachment, the toilet paper holder, the shower wall and bathtub mounted backwasher, the bathroom tissue holder, and the sanitary belts. Congratulations to Miss Mary and all of her inventions that has helped us today. And I'm pretty sure her sanitary belt led to the eventual invention of adhesive pads and then eventually tampons. I know that that was a model for whoever invented the adhesives. Yeah, so salute to Miss Mary. Miss Mary, I don't know if Miss Mary, I don't think Miss Mary is still alive today. I think she has since passed away. All right, now this one is sad. You all probably have heard this story before. You all have probably heard of this young man, but it is important for us to remember him and remember his story and what was done to him. So, George Steiny Jr. On March 24th, 1944, in South Carolina, George Steiny Jr. and his sister were playing in their yard when 2 white girls stopped by and asked where they could find flowers. After the girls did not return home, a search party went looking for them. So George, his sister, other members of their family, of course, other members of the community, they joined the search party. These 2 girls were later found dead in a ditch. During the search party, George did mention having seen the girls earlier that day. Thus, he was arrested and interrogated without his parents and without a lawyer. Y'all, this was not too long ago. This was in the 40s. It was not too long ago. So yes, so they brought this sweet boy, this 14-year-old who weighed 90 pounds, y'all. This 14-year-old, they brought him to trial, and an all-white jury took 10 minutes to deliberate, and they found George guilty. With this guilty verdict came the sentence of death. So y'all, he was put to death. I want it noted that the trial was a sham trial anyway, because his lawyer did not call any witnesses. His lawyer did not present any evidence, nor did his lawyer cross-examine the witnesses that came forward. So it has been noted, it is noted that the sheriff and the police officers coerced a confession out of George, and the only evidence that was presented was that supposedly coerced confession by the sheriff. I don't believe that George confessed at all. I don't believe that I do not believe that, even though he was coerced and harassed, bullied, as it was, by the sheriff and probably and maybe some of his some of the deputies, some of the other members of the police department. I honestly don't believe that he confessed at all. But the sheriff said that he confessed. I don't believe he did. If he did, it was shown up coerced, but I don't believe he did at all. That's just my thoughts on it in reading about this particular I'm reading about the life of George Steiny Jr. I just don't believe he confessed at all. But if he did, it was coerced, okay? The sheriff said that he confessed, and so that was the only evidence that was presented for them to convict George Steiny. Now, I don't know how a 90-pound 14-year-old could murder 2 children. I don't understand that. I don't know. Common sense says unless the way that they were killed, and y'all can look it up yourselves. I'm not gonna share that. Y'all can look it up yourselves how they were killed. The way they were killed, I just can't see I just can't see. And I know he didn't do it. I know he didn't. I know he didn't do it. Anywho, so George Siney Jr. was executed on June 6, 1944, y'all, at the age of 14. He was so short, you all, that they had to stack a book. I don't know if it was one book, two books. It says a book in the research, but however many books, whether it was one, two, or more, they had to actually stack a book for him to reach the top of the what is it called? The whatever contraption they use. They had to sit him on a book for him to reach the contraption for the execution to take place. And it is noted that with one of the individuals that was in jail with him, he did ask them, like, why are they going to kill me? And this is my paraphrase of what he said, like, why are they going to kill me for something that I didn't do? Like, what? That's why I believe he did not confess at all. Because he was like, why would they kill me for something that I didn't do? And I do want it noted that during the trial, you all, no Black people were allowed in the courtroom during the trial. Not his parents, not his family, nobody that was Black was allowed in that courtroom during the trial. It was also noted that his family was so badly harassed that they did flee after his execution. With George Steiny Jr.'s execution, he became the youngest person in U.S. history in the 20th century to be executed. In January of 2014, a judge in South Carolina called a 2-day trial where he listened to the testimony of George's surviving siblings, members of the search party at that time, and experts in order to determine what they should do about this particular case. Should the conviction remain or should it be vacated? So it was a 2-day trial. The judge eventually vacated George Steiny Jr.'s conviction. I do want it noted that the states argued that the conviction should remain, but the judge decided, we're going to vacate this, and that is what happened. Y'all, wow. Just wow. Just every time I see his face and every time I read his story is heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking that that young man lost his life, like so many other young people and so many other men and women lost their lives over some foolishness, especially when it came to a white woman. I'm not even gonna go there any further than what I just said. Moving right along, y'all can read more about George Steiny Jr.'s story on the EJI website. So I am going to add the links, like all the links that I use to get this information, I will add it to the description so you can read the information for yourself, because I have left out details. So a lot more details about all of these Black Americans. So you can read their story in more detail with the links that I'll add to the description. I thought this was an amazing story. So U.S. Navy Petty Officer First Class Charles Jackson French. That is who we're going to talk about, and I'm just going to call him Officer French. So Officer French was born on September 25th, 1919 in Foreman, Arkansas. A few months before his 18th birthday, Officer French joined the Navy as a mess attendant. And please note that this was the only job that Black Americans could have during this time, or in particular, Black men could have at this time. Officer French served his 4 years in the Navy, working the mess decks of the Hawaii-based heavy cruiser USS Houston. He returned home to Nebraska in 1941. However, 4 days after the bombing of Pearl Harbor, Officer French re-enlisted into the Navy and was assigned to the USS Gregory. That was in March 1942. On September 5th, I think I might have my dates wrong for oh no, I don't. I got it. I got it. I see. I see. Yes. So I got my dates right. Okay. So on September 5th, 1940, I thought I had his birthday wrong at first, but I got it because I'm remembering some of the other history that I didn't add here that was included in what I read. So that's why I was thinking about I might have gotten his birthday wrong, but it is correct. Okay. So on September 5th, 1942, during the Battle of Guadalcanal, the USS Gregory was taking fire from a Japanese destroyer. The USS Gregory sank within a few minutes of this attack. So first class petty officer French was seen swimming, y'all, the shark infested waters, rescuing you all, his fellow shipmates, y'all, injured shipmates. He was seen rescuing them. He rescued 15. It's noted that he rescued 15 shipmates in all. So it was noted by Navy Ensign Robert Adrian that he saw Officer French tie a rope around himself to pull the raft because Officer French, when he rescued his shipmates, he put them on a raft. And so Navy Ensign Robert Adrian saw him tying a rope around himself in order to pull the raft. And so, in addition, Mr. Adrian asked Officer French to get out of the water. Like, bruh, get out the water. They sharks up in there. Like, we don't want you to die. But this is what Officer French said. He noted that he was more afraid of the Japanese than he was those sharks. He also asked Mr. Adrian, just tell me if I'm going the right way. Like, I got this. I'm going to rescue our shipmate. Just let me know if I'm going the right way to get us to safety. So he swam for several hours, you all. So it was at sunrise that Officer French was spotted by a scout aircraft. The pilot of that aircraft, he dispatched a Marine landing craft to pick up Officer French, the 15 men that he rescued, as well as six other sailors who swam throughout the night to try to get to safety. And it is noted that they could have swam up to 8 hours to get to safety. So Officer French was able to rescue all of his shipmates except 11 of them. I don't know what the total number was, but he was able to rescue all of his shipmates or all of the crew, all of the USS Gregory's crew, except for 11 of them. And I'm assuming those 11 may have passed away or they weren't reachable or they couldn't be found, whatever the case may be. So Officer French received a letter of commendation from the commander of the Southern Pacific Fleet, Admiral William F. Bull Halsey. So we salute Officer French for his courageous work in rescuing his shipmates. And y'all think about it, during this time, Black and white could not swim in the same waters together. But Officer French was like, he wasn't caring about that. He was trying to rescue his fellow soldiers, his fellow shipmates. And so he was able to do that. And I'm thankful for his bravery. Can you imagine? I can't imagine, but can y'all imagine having a raft tied around you and you're pulling not 16, but 15 injured men to safety? I believe the Lord gave him some supernatural strength to be able to do that. And the fact that he did not get eaten up by sharks and none of his shipmates, were eaten up by sharks, and the other 6 sailors were able to be rescued as well. And it's just an amazing story. So I'm glad to know about the story of, and I'm going to go up so I can read his whole title, U.S. Navy Petty Officer First Class Charles Jackson French. We salute him. So you all, I think this is the last person. Oh, I got 2 more people that I want to tell you about, then I'm going to give you a few additional facts. And we will be done for the evening. So Belle de Costa Green. Belle de Costa Green was the daughter of Jeanine Ida Fleet Greener and Richard T. Greener. Miss Belle Green grew up in a predominantly African American community in DC. Her father was the first Black graduate of Harvard College, and he was a racial justice activist, a diplomat, and an educator. Her mother her mother came from a distinguished Black family in DC. She also worked as a musician and as an educator. Belle's parents ended up separating, after which her mom changed their name to Green. And Belle's mom also decided that her and her children would pass. So they passed for white after Belle's parents were divorced. While Miss Belle Green was employed at the Princeton University Library, she met Junius Spencer Morgan, who recommended her to his uncle, J. Piermont Morgan, who was soon to realize his dream of having a new library building. So in 1905, Miss Belle was an assistant to Junius and eventually became the private librarian to J. Pierpont Morgan. Miss Belle, along with her assistant, Ada Thurston, they built up, managed, and documented J. Pierpont Morgan's collection of rare books and manuscripts. They also organized public exhibitions at outside venues and established relationships with scholars and dealers. I'm thinking they did this to promote the extensive library collection that they had collected and managed of Mr. Morgan's. So after Morgan passed away in 1913, Miss Belle remained the private librarian for his son. His son, J.P. Morgan Jr., also established the Pierpont Morgan Library as a public institute in 1924. He also named Miss Belle as its first director. Miss Belle retired from this position in 1948. Miss Belle is noted to be an extraordinary librarian who made significant contributions to bibliography and scholarships. And I'll again add her link to the chat so you can read more about her story. Just the fact that she collected like rare books and artifacts was amazing to me, because y'all know I love reading, I love books, I am a published author, so I enjoyed reading about her story. So again, you can find more about her in the link that I'll add to the description after the broadcast. Miss Harriet Jacobs was born in 1813 in Edenton, North Carolina. Yeah, she was an abolitionist and an author. Okay, so Miss Harriet, she was born as an enslaved person. She was taught to read at an early age. It is noted in her autobiography, which is entitled Incidents in the Life of a Slave Girl, and it was published in 1861. So it was noted in her autobiography that she was happy as a child. And this quoted, "We lived together in a comfortable home. And though we were all slaves, I was so fondly shielded that I never dreamed that I was a piece of merchandise." So Miss Harriet's mother, she soon passed away. So Miss Harriet was raised by a close family friend. Beginning in 1825, her enslaver repeatedly sexually harassed her and abused her. As a teenager, Miss Harriet gave birth to 2 children fathered by a neighbor who was also a lawyer named Samuel Treadwell Sawyer. When Miss Harriet refused to become her enslaver's concubine, he sent her to work on another plantation. Miss Harriet eventually fled that plantation and spent 7 years in hiding. Y'all, listen to where she spent these 7 years in hiding. She spent it in a tiny crawl space that was a 9 by 7 foot crawl space, y'all. So it was tiny. But Miss Harriet stayed in this crawl space that was built by her grandmother and her uncle on a porch. Okay. So the crawl space was above a porch that was built by her grandmother and her uncle. It was so interesting because this particular location was where the father of her children, the lawyer, he actually purchased the two children and they lived at this home. And so while Miss Harriet was in this crawl space, she was able to see her children playing outside. So in a sense, she was able to see her children grow up in these 7 years while she hid out in this crawl space. I don't know what she did for the bathroom. I don't know what she did for food. I didn't read that information in my research, but child, I will be curious to know what she did for food and bathroom. Anywho, in this 9 by 7 foot space, there was no light and there was no ventilation. And Miss Harriet actually drilled a peephole in one of the planks, and that's how she was able to see her children. So it is noted that Miss Harriet would come out for brief periods at night to get some exercise, probably to get some fresh air, and just to relieve herself from that cramped space. But 7 years, y'all, she lived in this space for wow, that's something, y'all. In 1842, Miss Harriet escaped to the north where she worked as a nursemaid in New York City. She eventually moved to Rochester, where she worked in an anti-slavery reading room that happened to be above the newspaper by abolitionist Frederick Douglass, and his newspaper was entitled The North Star. Miss Harriet eventually met Amy Post, a Quaker reformer, and they became lifelong friends. Amy Post and others encouraged Miss Harriet to write her autobiography. Miss Harriet penned, and though she was hesitant to do so because of the details of her life, Miss Harriet did self-publish her book. I've already said it, I'll say it again. It was entitled Incidents in the Life of a Slave Girl. You all, it is arguably the most comprehensive slave narrative written by a woman. If you all have never read a slave narrative, you should read some slave narratives. I mean, the slave narratives are very detailed, and it's horrific to hear about their stories, but it's good for us to know what our ancestors went through. So again, if you've never read a slave narrative, I encourage you to do some research, find you some slave narratives, and read them. So Miss Harriet wrote her self-published book as Linda Brent. Her pen name was Linda Brent, and she did detail the sexual abuse that enslaved women endured at the hands of slave masters and other individuals. She also wrote about the anguish that was felt by enslaved mothers who frequently experienced the loss of their children, their child or their children. Think I tied my wrap too tight. So in the book, in the preface of the book, Incidents in the Life of a Slave Girl, Miss Harriet wrote this. I do earnestly desire to arouse the women of the North to a realizing sense of the condition of 2 millions of women at the South, still in bondage, suffering what I suffered, and most of them were worse. I want to add my testimony to that of abler pens to convince the people of the free states what slavery really is. Only by experience can anyone realize how deep and dark and foul is that pit of abominations. I do want to note that this particular book has often been attributed to the editor, Lydia Marie Child, but it was rediscovered in 1960 that this book was actually written by Miss Harriet. Let me get her first name, Miss Harriet Jacobs. Let me get that date right. Hold on, let me look at that date again. Okay, yes. So again, the book's writings was often attributed to Lydia Marie Child, who was the editor of the book. The book was rediscovered in the 1960s during the civil rights movement. It was thought to be considered a work of fiction. I don't know how they thought that was a work of fiction, because when you go in details about, especially sexual assault, like that's. Mm-mm. It was it was considered a work of fiction. Got that part. So in the 1980s, Jean Fagan Yellen, which is a scholar, they verified that Miss Harriet Jacobs actually wrote the book, that it was an account of her life. And so I did not look up this book, but if I really don't want to, I don't want to read. I probably need to read it for historical sake, but I definitely don't want to read about the horrific sexual assaults. I definitely don't want to read those details, because my heart just can barely take it. Um, just knowing what I know about the rape and sexual assault and abuse that Black women had to endure under the hand of their slave masters, as well as other individuals. But I am going to look up the book and see. I think it is still available today. So, again, for the fourth time, the book is entitled Incidents in the Life of a Slave Girl. It was published in 1861. So we do not salute, but salute Miss Harriet Jacobs for her bravery in writing down her story. Because I can only imagine how difficult it would be to write out the historical, or not historical, excuse me, but I didn't mean to say historical, I meant to say horrific, to write down the horrific experiences that she endured as an enslaved person. I can't even imagine having to live them, but then recount them in written form. I mean, just her bravery and courage in doing that. I really honor her and appreciate the fact that she was willing to do that and be a voice for the countless women who had to endure that abuse, but they weren't able to write down their story, or they didn't have the education as far as being able to read and write in order to write down their story. All right, y'all, a few more historical facts for you. I had never heard of the Tignan law, but I'm going to share it with you right now. In 1786, the governor of New Orleans passed a law that designed, excuse me, let me stop reading that part, because that was okay. Hold on. So let me restart this. In 1786, the governor of New Orleans, he passed a law that forced Black women to wear their hair in a wrap called a tignon. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. And I do want to note that this was a Spanish governor. This was a Spanish governor of Louisiana. Okay, he was a Spanish governor of Louisiana. Not just New Orleans, but Louisiana. The Tignan law was, okay, let me backtrack. Let me start all over again, y'all. So let me just start all over again, because I'm looking at my notes. I got a little note here and I got a little note there. In 1786, the Spanish governor of Louisiana, New Orleans, he established a law that women in Louisiana in particular were required to wear a headscarf when they were like out and about. They had to cover their hair, they had to wear a headscarf. So you all know, Black people, we are innovative, we are creative, we will not be stifled, we will not be oppressed, we are going to break free. So what the Black women did is they adorned their scarves with jewels, and they'll have other things with jewels, with feathers, with decorative fabrics. They actually use this law, this form of oppression, to create a fashion statement while they were out and about. So they made their Tignan scarves beautiful, they made them fashionable, and they made them distinct. And as you all know, we still wear our scarves today. That's why I decided to wear my scarf tonight. We still wear our scarves today as a remembrance and honor to the women that were under this oppressive law, but they overcame this oppressive law by making it beautiful and fashionable, and culturally relevant. I'm going to say culturally relevant at that time. And so their scarves actually became not only a fashion statement, but a symbol of rebellion against this particular law. I do want it noted that the reasons I looked this up on the internet, the reasons why this law was enacted is to force Black women to identify as a part of the enslaved class, to prevent Black women from forming unions with white men. I don't know how a scarf gonna keep you from forming a union with any man, but okay, that's, you know. This law was enacted to suppress the self-expression and creative expression of Black women, and it was also to diminish the threat to white women's social status. So, in other words, they wanted to keep Black women in a docile, subservient role. So they tried to, um, or this law was passed in order to keep us in a subservient role. But child, it did not oppress the Black women. Again, they turned it into a statement of freedom, a statement of fashion, a statement of rebellion. Like, you will not hold us back. We're gonna make this beautiful. You don't want to see our beautiful natural hair, then we will make this scarf that you are forcing us to wear because it's the law. We're gonna make it beautiful. So that's what they did. Always, and still today, Black people are being oppressed by wearing the hair that's growing out of our scalp. Dreads, locks, curls, afros, twists, however you choose to wear your natural hair, braids, still being oppressed. Thank God for the Crown Act, which has not passed in every state, y'all, unfortunately. So there's still oppression that is happening with our people as far as their hair is concerned, but still having to deal with the beauty of our crown even today. And this, y'all, was in 1786. And again, Black people are still dealing with the beauty of our crown. Let me tell y'all something. I know that people have tried to duplicate Black hair with braids and different things. Locks. Can't nobody wear Black hair like Black people. Can't nobody rock an afro or braids, whether they're your natural hair braided or your natural hair braided with some hair added to it. Your locks, your twists, your whatever, your beautiful curls. Can't nobody duplicate Black hair. Can't nobody wear Black hair like Black people. And my thing is, I was reading something today, y'all. I don't even know what it is, but I was reading something today, or no, I was actually listening to, I don't know if it was a sermon or a workshop. I don't know what it is. It looked like the event occurred in the church. So I'm believing it was a part of a sermon. But I was listening to this young man, and I have not listened to the rest of the sermon. I'm gonna call it a sermon, but he was talking about why would white people wear, I think it was a sermon. I was reading so much today, so I may have gotten that wrong, but I think it was a sermon that I got this information from. Whatever it is, whether it was a sermon or just reading, why would white people try so hard to oppress a people that they could care less about? Like, they talk about the insignificance of Black people and have done everything they could and still do everything they can do to oppress Black people. If Black people were not so significant to them, if Black people were not so significant in this world, if our power and our innovativeness, and I know that's probably not a word, but creativity, our innovativeness. Yes, I made up a word. I think I did. Our creativity, our power, our authority, our uniqueness, our awesomeness, our brilliance. If it wasn't such a threat to white people, they would not try to oppress us as hard as they do. Because I know for me as a person, people that I don't care about or don't want to deal with or don't want to have any connections with, I don't deal with them. I don't engage with them. I don't make connections with them. I could care less about them because I'm over here trying to live my life, my best life over here. So people that I don't care about, I'm not giving them my attention. And people that I don't care about, I'm not going to support them unless the Lord tells me to, but I'm not going to oppress them either. I'm not going to bother them. Like they over there doing their thing, let them do their thing. You know, I'm not going to try to harm them or oppress them. If they enjoy their life, celebrations and honor to them, let them enjoy their lives, but I'm not going to give them my time or attention. So if Black people were not so significant or important in this world, white people would not try so hard to oppress us or diminish us or attempt to diminish us at every turn. Like I have never seen, and it's been throughout history, a group of people, white people, working so hard to keep Black people from elevating, from stretching out, from doing what we do. We're going to do what we do anyway, no matter how hard you try to oppress us. That is obvious in these Black history facts that I read tonight, and in the rest of Black history that we know and don't know, because things have been oppressed and hidden over the years, but we're discovering and rediscovering our history and the power of our ancestors. And so, but I've never seen a people work so hard trying to oppress another people. Of course, that's white people's motives because they oppressed the Native Americans when they were here, Latinos, Asians, all people except for white people. I just like, child, if your race, if your people are so strong and so powerful, then just do you. Just be who you are and live your life. If y'all are so great, if y'all so mighty, if y'all so powerful, if y'all so superior, just live your life. They know that they're not superior and powerful and creative and innovative like Black people. Because if they were, they would be continuing on doing what they're doing instead of trying to oppress us. Instead of trying to oppress us, like leave me alone. Go do whatever you're gonna do and leave me alone. But anywho, that's not in my notes. I just thought I would throw that out there. It was a sermon, and if I'm able to, I will add the link to that sermon to the description. If it was an article or something whatever it was, if I can add it to the description at some point after the broadcast tonight or tomorrow, Lord bless me to live to see it, then I'll add it. But if not, then y'all can search for it yourself. But I will try to find it. I'll retrace my steps of all my research today, and I will try to add it. I think I have just a few more things to share with you all. I have just 3 more things to share. I know I said I was going to be short. It's almost 8 o'clock. So I'll add these quickly. And then I'll give us some more Black history facts next week as well. And then I'll do the unboxing, unbagging. Okay, y'all, watermelon. Child, watermelon. Let me tell y'all about this watermelon. Black people used to grow and sell watermelon, you all, as a sign of self-sufficiency. Black people used to grow and sell watermelon as a sign of self-sufficiency. Following emancipation, many Southern African Americans grew and sold watermelons, and it became a symbol of freedom, a symbol of freedom. Many Southern whites reacted to this self-sufficiency by turning the fruit, by turning watermelon into a symbol of poverty. Remember, y'all, Black people living their best life, producing, growing, and selling watermelon. They over there. being self-sufficient, celebrating their freedom, and here come white people bothering them. So white people jealous of the self-sufficiency of Black people, so they put it out there that watermelon is a sign of poverty. They noted, or it is noted, that watermelon started or became a symbol of an unclean, lazy, childlike individual. In order to shame Black people who were growing watermelon, the Black watermelon merchants, popular ads, including postcards that pictured African Americans stealing, fighting over, or sitting in streets eating watermelon, became the thing to do, became popular during that time. In addition, watermelons being eaten hand to mouth, like I know I ate growing up, hand to mouth, without utensils, made it impossible to consume without making a mess. Therefore, watermelons or eating watermelons became branded as a public nuisance. Isn't that stupid? Yes, it is. So eventually watermelon became a racist stereotype for Black people in the Jim Crow era. Again, because white people were jealous that Black people were producing something to sustain themselves, to take care of themselves, to take care of their families. Y'all, isn't that something? Like, it's it made me think about, when I was reading this, it made me think about the movie Birth of a Nation. I can't remember who released that movie. I never watched it because just seeing some of the highlights of it was just so stupid. But it was, so anyway, that's a whole other thing, because then that takes you into the stereotype of Black men, strong Black men wanting to, or strong Black men thought to, not wanting to, but Black strong men thought to want to um, be with, attack white women. So that's a whole nother thing. But you can read more about that on the National Museum of African American History's website that I'm going to add to the link. But it did make me think about that, how white people come up with stupid things to discriminate against Black people and to paint or show, not paint, but show Black people in a negative light. That's where we get stereotypes from. All Black people love watermelon. Well, watermelon became a source of entrepreneurship and self-sufficiency for Black people. So yes, we thank God for all the Black watermelon growers and entrepreneurs during this time. So yes, we love it as a symbol of economic freedom for our ancestors. Yes, and I do love me some watermelon. I certainly do. But there are other groups of people who love watermelon just as much as my people love watermelon. But again, stereotypes. A lot of stereotypes were initiated by white people to paint Black people in a negative, or to show Black people in a negative way. And so, child, and you know what, y'all, a lot of stereotypes are still being used today to classify Black people. Watermelon, chicken, angry Black women, strong Black men who want white women. Like, it's so many stereotypes that are out there. Black people that's from low economic areas are all thugs, drug dealers, prostitutes, like so many stereotypes that have been put out there by white people. And let's be honest, Black people, sometimes we perpetuate these stereotypes. Sometimes we keep these stereotypes going. So let's be better and do better for ourselves, for our family, for our community, and for our culture. Okay. All right. I'm going to take a sip of my H2O. Two more things I want to share with you all. So Jones Barbecue Diner is a restaurant in Arkansas. It is the oldest Black-owned restaurant in this country. Come on, Mr. Jones. So Mr. Jones opens Jones Barbecue Diner at 7 a.m. every morning. His hours, if you look up his restaurant, the hours are 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. But oftentimes he sells out of his barbecue by 11 or 12, and so he shuts down and goes home. Because after the barbecue that he makes for that day, once it's sold out, he done for the day. Him and his wife, they pack up and they going back to the house. Y'all, let me tell y'all what Mr. Jones sells at his barbecue diner. All he sells is a barbecue sandwich on white bread. That's it. That's all you gonna get at Mr. Jones restaurant, at Jones Barbecue Diner in Arkansas. All you gonna get is some vinegar-based barbecue on some white bread. That's it. Now you can add some coleslaw and you can get some sauce for your sandwich. That's about the only condiments you're gonna get at Mr. Jones. Look, I don't know, he might have some hot sauce. I didn't read about no hot sauce, but I did read about the coleslaw and the sauce. But you're gonna get a barbecue sandwich, that's it. You're not gonna get no fries, no hush puppies. Barbecue sandwich might get you some coleslaw and some sauce, and that's it at Jones. But y'all, I want to go. I promise you, I probably will not go to Arkansas no time soon unless there's a conference or convention there. And I'll go there and then I will check out Mr. Jones. But I just wanted you all to know that Jones Barbecue Diner in Arkansas is the oldest Black-owned restaurant in the country, and Mr. Jones and his wife serve barbecue sandwiches, and that's it. I absolutely love that. Because sometimes you can serve too many, there's just too much food on the menu to choose from. Stick with what you know. Mr. Jones said, I made barbecue. I do this well. I'm going to stick with it, and I love it. We all can take Mr. Jones' example of doing what we do well and sticking to it. All right. One more thing I want to share with you all, as far as movies are concerned, is I do not have a Netflix account, but if you do, there is a movie or a documentary rather on Netflix entitled Daughters Documentary. It is by Natalie Ray and Angela Patton. This particular movie highlights the journey of girls whose dads are in prison, and it highlights a dance that Miss Patton initiated with the girls that she works with. Okay, so Miss Patton, she has been working with young people for over 20 years as the CEO of Girls for a Change. It is a nonprofit in Richmond, Virginia that empowers Black girls by addressing their unique needs while making sure to reserve space for their innocence and for them to play. So Miss Patton, she was doing a TED Talk, a TED Woman Talk, when filmmaker Natalie Ray saw her TED Talk and she reached out to her, and they collaborated and they co-directed this documentary. I watched the preview, and just the preview was enough to be like, wow. As I was reading this article, which again, I'll add the link to the chat, Miss Patton, she's like, have some tissue by your side. And she also noted, and it's a quote, so I'm gonna read her quote. This is what Miss Angela Patton said. Before I tell you that, let me share this information with you. One of Miss Patton's programs is a date with dad, where she hosts a father-daughter dance for girls whose fathers are incarcerated, okay? And so hoping, just as a way to bring these fathers and daughters together. You can read more about it in the link. Okay, so let me share the quote with you. I do have some more notes here, but I'll give the link. You can read it for yourself. So Miss Patton said this as it relates to you watching this documentary. I would recommend you have a candle, tissues, water, and that you just breathe. She went on to say, take breaks if you have to, but we do want you to finish it, and then I want you to share it with someone else. I want to see this documentary. I want to see it. I'm hoping that I can see it. But yeah, so if you have Netflix, I encourage you to watch Daughter's documentary. I don't know when it was released, if it was released this year or last year, but I encourage you to see it. And I think you've heard me talk about the 688. If you have not seen it, that is Tyler Perry's movie, 688, about the women's male battalion. Let me get it right because I didn't write it down. I was trying to go off my memory. I know sometimes I can't go off this memory, but it was the male, I think they were called the Mail Room Battalion. But they, in 3 months, they were able to organize and send out about 1 million, I believe it was about 1 million pieces of mail to families and to soldiers so that families would know, excuse me, what had happened to their loved ones, and so that soldiers would know that their families are concerned about them and reaching out to them and sending them letters, and just seeing how they're doing. And so the 688 Central Postal Directory Battalion, okay, they were the all Black battalion of the U.S. Women's Army Corps. And y'all, about 1 million pieces of mail they were able again to get out. Let me see if I can give you some information about it. So on May 15th, 1942, the Women's Auxiliary Army Corps was formed. Okay, I don't want to really read about that, so let me go down. Okay, so according to the website of the women of the 688.org website, it says that the 688 was a multi-ethnic unit that was predominantly Black, with at least one Puerto Rican and Mexican woman. I be doggone, it was all Black. What y'all talking about? What y'all talking about? All right, so anywho, let me see if I can get the battalion was led by Major Charity Adams. And y'all, she worked the heck out of, Kerry Washington worked the heck out of her role as Charity Adams, Major Charity Adams in the movie. I know there's a documentary that I didn't look at it, but I did know that there is at least one documentary about the work that the 688 did. Their theme was, or excuse me, their motto was no male, low morale. So I don't see the number of, but I'm just thinking from, or just remembering from the movie, I think it was about 1 million pieces of mail that they sorted and got out. So y'all, that's ridiculous. That's crazy, but they did it, y'all. Crazy in a good way. Like, it's crazy that they were able to do that in less than 3 months, y'all. And so I'm just reading this. Oh, I was reading about Miss Crescencia Garcia. I think she lived to be 100 or 101 or 102. But before her passing, she was the oldest living veteran of the the second oldest living veteran of the 688. I know she since passed away, but I can't remember if she passed away at 102 or 103. That's Miss Crescencia, or PFC, Crescencia Garcia. She was of Puerto Rican heritage. Um, okay, that's all, y'all. I'll add some information. I'll add this link and maybe another link that I was reading earlier about the 688. So anyway, if you got Netflix, check out Daughter's documentary, check out Netflix. I was looking at Madam C.J. Walker's story on Netflix as well. I didn't get a chance to finish hers, but I was looking at it. It was really good. It was it was interesting the way Octavia Spencer played her. It made me wonder. I was curious to know if that's really how Madam C.J. Walker was, because she was so up and down emotionally in the series. I was just like, I wonder, was that directed accurately? Because actors portray their roles based on the direction of the director. So I was wondering, was that written and or directed accurately? I just don't know, but it did make me question. So y'all can look at it for yourselves and see what y'all think about it, because maybe it was right. It did make me question. All right, y'all, that's all I have for you. Again, I'll give you some more facts next week before we do our unboxing and our unbagging. I'm so excited to get the rest of my products this week. Hopefully, well, they're scheduled to come this week. Due to the weather, it might not be until the first of next week, and I'm okay with that. And then, like I said at the beginning of the broadcast, one of them may not be delivered by Thursday. So I'll show that to you on a different Thursday. Okay, y'all. I appreciate each of you. I hope the facts were helpful to you. I hope you learned some things that you didn't know. Gosh, y'all, I felt like my giving you the facts tonight was so inadequate because there's so much Black history. It's so much for us to know and to learn about, be educated about. It's just so much. But I hope that you learned something. I hope that you were encouraged by the bravery of the individuals I mentioned tonight, making history. Black history is American history, so making history in their respective places. I hope it encourages you to make the history that you feel like you want to make in your community, in your life. So go for it, y'all. God has given you an idea, an invention, a book idea, ministry, um, ministry vision, whatever, y'all, just do it. Y'all got the power, the authority of the ancestors backing you up. So go for it, y'all. Okay, y'all. Don't forget to like this broadcast tonight. Don't forget to subscribe. Lord willing, we will be back next Thursday for more Black history facts and for the unboxing, unbagging. Look, y'all, I know I can't see you, but wear your African American attire next week. I'm planning to wear my Black Paper Party sweatshirt that y'all have seen before. That's what I'm planning to wear next week. So even though I can't see you, get your African American attire on and we will celebrate together. All right, y'all, take care and be blessed.